Good morning, everybody. Give me a moment here. I'm running a little bit behind. I want to bring up my iPad so I can watch the comments. Yeah, what's going on with that? Doesn't like me today. There it is. I apologize for the delay. Let me turn my volume down. I don't need to hear myself. Okay. Let's see. I think I can tweak this just a little bit. Okay. All right, looks good to me. I'm glad you're able to join me this morning. We're going to be doing new products out of the new mini January to June catalog 2022. So I hope you enjoy them and it kind of gets your wish list going of what you want. All right, let me introduce myself. My name is Debbie Foster and my Facebook business page is Creating Cards with Debbie. And you can shop in my online store for any of the products here that I'm showing today, but you can't shop until January 4th when the catalog goes live. So here's the host code that's still good for December, but I'll have a new one for the January. I'll do that next week. In fact, I might come on earlier and go through the catalog itself. I'm not sure. I haven't checked my schedule yet for next week. But anyway, the December host code, which is still good for, 2 more days here, until December 31st, is ERHDQVHZ. So you can use that code if your order is under $150. And if you'd like to email me with any questions or concerns that you might have, you can email me at creatingwithdebbie179@gmail.com. And my blog address for all the instructions of all the cards that we do is www.creatingcardswithdebbie.thesearemystamps.com. And that's also in the description of the video, so if you miss it. And if you want to sign up for Paper Pumpkin, here's the website to go to. Be sure that you use that. And we'll talk a little bit about Paper Pumpkin here in a moment. But I want to remind you that we still have the last chance products going on until January 3rd. So that's all the products that are in the previous mini catalog, which is right here, this catalog. So all these are retiring, or a few are carrying over, but not a whole lot. Most of them are retiring. And you get those right now, some at even a discount of up to 50% off. So those are while products last. So then before they're gone, you want to get those. If you have any questions, too, reach out and ask me, and I'll be glad to help you. All right, and let me see what other news we've got going on. We've got Paper Pumpkin for January. It's called Kisses and Hugs. And you can sign up for that until January 10th. And it says, we all know that roses are red. It's that love cards got an upgrade. The Kisses and Hugs Paper Pumpkin Kit will help you express that forever kind of love with heart-shaped cards that would make Cupid jealous. And the kit contains enough supplies to create 10 cards and coordinating envelopes. And it's perfect for all occasions throughout the year, like Valentine's Day, anniversaries, weddings, honeymoons, birthdays, and more. And it includes an exclusive stamp set and a gray granite classic Stampin' Spot, which is Stampin' Spot are these little stamp pads. And each month you'll get a different color that goes with that kit. Okay, and also, if you have any questions on that, be sure you reach out to me. And I'm thinking I need to give you a little sneak peek of what our catalog coming up looks like. But I can't open it, but I can show you the cover, which is very colorful. And we're going to be using this stamp set today to make one of these cards. Well, it's not this card, but it's going to be a card with a windmill. And I'm using also that ribbon that's there, which is the evergreen, what's it called? Evergreen. I've got it here, just a moment. Get it out of my goodie box here. Yes, it's the window pane check ribbon, evening evergreen. It's very pretty. And if you wanted to, you could color this with your blends also. So that's another option that you can use with it. Be sure you comment when you come on. Okay, Amber, glad you're here. Yes, you are on. Okay. Glad you could join us this morning. Hope you're doing well. Okay, so here's the mini catalog that starts January 4th, which is only a few days away. I think that's Tuesday. I believe it's Tuesday, January 4th. Let me double check my calendar. Yes, it's next Tuesday, so exciting. I can't show you the inside, but I can show you the cover. I can show you the back side. As you can see, it's going to be a lot of tulips going on. Beautiful papers, too. Okay, and along with that, we've got Sale-a-bration going on from January 4th until February 28th. It runs for 2 months. And what that is with every $50 order that you put in, you get to choose a free item out of this book. And there are some that are where you spend $100, you get a product out of here for free. And I think I'm using one of those stamp sets today that's in that $100 range. But it comes with the paper too, so it's the stamp set and the paper, so that's a bargain. So I think that's all the news I've got to go over. So let's go ahead and just jump right in here and let's get started. I'm debating which one. We'll start with this one. So here's the stamp set that's one of the Sale-a-bration ones, and this is one of those that are the $100 item. But it's very pretty. It's one of those distinctive stamp sets. And that's the card that we're going to be making today. It's going to be using that, and here's the card that I've designed. It says, "Lovely You." And on the inside, I stamped, "I love being your friend," which is one of the sentiments out of here too. And so let's go ahead and get started on that. We'll get our bits and pieces out here. I'm so messed up with the holiday, Christmas and all, that I feel like it's been a long time since I've been on here, but I was on here last week, so I don't know. We're getting some glare on this from my light here, so let me kind of turn it there, and that's better. Okay. So we've got our flower stamp, and the paper that we're using is the Gorgeous Grape, and I designed this a few days ago, so I want to make sure I get the right pieces out here, that I don't mess it up. Okay, our base of our card is going to be the 4 1/4 inch by 5 1/2 inch, or 11 inch. Let me start over. 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches, and then it's scored at 5 1/2 in the middle. Words are hard today. And we're going to burnish the edge of that really good. And we're going to we're going to stamp on that a little bit. So let me get some scrap paper out of here so I don't mess up my surface here. And I'm just going to use some scratch paper here that I have. And we're going to bring out our Gorgeous Grape stamp pad, and we're going to stamp some flowers. And this is a large stamp of flowers. And when I have a large stamp, I always turn it upside down and then ink it up. It's kind of easier. And you can see if you got ink everywhere where you need it to be. So I'm just going to stamp the edges of our card base, just to give it a little character, I guess. I just want the outer edges because that's all it's going to show, because we're going to put another stamped one over the top. Be sure you like and share the video. And if you're watching it on YouTube later today, be sure that you hit that subscribe button so that you'll be notified when I put new videos up. And also, you can also like that also, so I'd appreciate that very much. Alright, so now we're going to ink this up again, and we're going to stamp another piece of Gorgeous Grape, which is, I need to get my instructions out here so I know what I'm talking about. This is a Gorgeous Grape, and this measures 4 1/8 inches by 5 3/8 inches, and we're just going to stamp that all over this piece of cardstock. And kind of fill in some blank ones here. I love the way this stamps. It's very pretty. I'm not sure if the camera is picking it up very well. Alright, we can move that aside. But before we do that, we're going to stamp our flower on our basic white, which is 2 1/2 inches by 3 3/4 inches. So let's go ahead and do that while we've got our ink going here. And I need to turn that over and ink it up so I get a good impression. Yeah. Good morning, Jackie. Glad you're here. We just got started. In fact, I was maybe just a little bit late coming on. The time got away from me. Alright, we're going to stamp that on that basic white. And that's going to be our focal point of our card. So we'll set that aside for a moment. We're going to put these together. Move our inky paper away. And I'm going to take our ribbon. We're using, this is the sheer ribbon, the Gorgeous Grape. You can find that in the annual catalog. And watch me lose my little pin there. We're going to wrap it around, and then we're going to tie a bow, hopefully. Sometimes when I'm on camera, tying these bows is kind of difficult. We're going to give it a whirl today. See what happens. Whoops. Well, see, I'm all thumbs this morning. I didn't know tying a bow could be so difficult, but it sure is when you're on camera. I don't know what it is about it. And we're still having difficulties here. Goodness gracious. Alright, it's the third time a charm. And I'm going to tie that in a knot. Maybe I can get it to sit still for me. I'll spend all my time this morning trying just to get a bow. Alright, now we can work with it without trying to hang on to it and make our loops. Oh goodness. Well, come here, little guy. Alright, there we go. Finally. Now we can adjust this up so we have a pretty bow there. we're going to trim our ends off a little bit. And I like to cut them at an angle. I think it's more pleasing to the eye. Alright, so now we're going to put that up on dimensionals. And I've got a sheet here that I'm just using the outer edges. So be sure you don't throw your dimensionals away because even the edges are good. I just cut them down to the sizes that I want. And we're going to put quite a few on here because we don't want it sinking anywhere on our card. So I may use this whole sheet of edges here. And I think I've got to bring in some more to put in the middle. So this sheet's gone. And let me see, I thought I had some paper pumpkin ones. Even with your paper pumpkin kits, you get everything that you need, and that includes most of the time dimensionals also. So I like to use those up too, any extras that I hadn't used with my kit. Okay. And then I'm going to take your pick tool and I'm going to pop those backings off. Being I don't have any fingernails that are very good to work with this. This little pointy end of our take your pick tool works wonderful. I need to get my trash can over here instead of just throwing everything on the floor. I feel like I'm fumbling a lot today for some reason. Maybe it's the weather. Alright, now we got that on dimensionals. We're going to place that on our card front. And you're just going to have a small border going around it. It barely sees, but I didn't want just the plain gorgeous great paper showing through, so that's why I stamped the edges of our card base. Alright, now we're going to take our flower there, and I've cut some gold foil, which is 2 3/4 inches by 4 inches, and we're going to use our Stampin' Seal to attach that to the foil. And I hope I have enough in this roll to complete this. I'm getting towards the end of it, so I should have changed it before I started, but it worked. There's enough. And then we're going to place this on that gold foil and leaving a small border all around it. And then we're just going to attach that to the front of our card. And I think I'm going to put dimensionals on that too, because I have the ribbon there that I've got to go over. So we're just going to use some dimensionals. And there we go. And we'll do the same with this. We'll use our take your pick tool to pop those backings off of those dimensionals. So is Santa Claus good to everybody? Hi Becky, glad you could join us. If you missed anything, just go back and catch the replay. We just got started, so I don't think you really missed very much. Probably just all my yakking going on. So we're going to place that on the left side of our card front. And there we have that. And then I'm going to be using our Gilded Gems. Let me get those out. I didn't get them out yet. Oh, I did too. Never mind, I've got them here. They're hiding. We're using the gold gilded gems. And we're going to take 3 of those. I'm using the small. And we're just going to place 2 on the upper left corner. And another one. Oh, and I forgot to stamp the sentiment. I don't know if I'm going to make that work. We might skip the sentiment on this. I should have done that before I put that up on dimensionals. Yeah, we're going to skip the sentiment. We'll put the sentiment on the inside instead. But I did have mine. I had the lovely you, but I should have stamped it first. But I'm not going to try because I'll end up messing it up. I guess I could stamp it on a little scrap of white. Could I squeeze that in there? Yeah, let's do that. We'll do that. Alright, so I've got to get my sentiment out here. I didn't have that put on a block yet. Like I said, I was running a little behind this morning, so I'm kind of out of sorts here. So we'll just get it together. Yeah, hope everyone's patient with me. And we're going to stamp that on this little strip of basic white. I always keep my little scraps after cutting down my paper because you can use them for sentiments and whatever, just like this. And I'm going to take my little cutter, and this isn't available. It was in one of our promotions that we Stampin' Up had going on for when you joined my team. You got it free. But I wish they would bring it into the catalog because it's really handy to have on your desk. Alright, can we squeeze that in there? I'm going to cut that down just a little bit more. So I don't want to cover any part of my flower, so well, we can always fussy cut it out and make it smaller. And I'm just going around the sentiment. And that way we can make it a little smaller to squeeze it in there so it doesn't cover up the flower. Yes, that works. So let me get my glue. I'm using the Tombow glue or the green glue or the multi-purpose glue. I just call it Tombow. It came out faster than I wanted it to. It's a brand new bottle, so it does come out pretty fast. Alright, slide you over here so I don't get glue all over. And we'll just pop that down on top of our white layer. There. I like that. That turned out okay. There. Alright, so let's work on the inside. Our inside, we have the basic white, and that measures 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And we're going to stamp our sentiment on the inside. And grab another block here. So yeah, I wasn't prepared this morning. And I want to use I Love Being Your Friend. We're going to stamp that using our gorgeous grape ink. And we're going to stamp that right in the center, upper center. And then I also want to add a little extra to the inside, so we're going to use this other flower stamp, which is this one. And we're going to stamp that in the corner. It just gives a little extra to your card, I think. Close up this ink pad. And we can glue this to the inside of our card. Does anybody have any big plans for New Year's Eve to bring in the new year 2022? Okay, we're going to center that on the inside of our card. Keep losing my comments. Thank you, Jackie. Yes, I'm using my new ring light I got for Christmas. I'm thinking it's giving me good lighting. What do you think? Does my lighting work? Yeah, Jackie, I know you gotta work. Okay, so there's our first card. But let's go ahead and do the envelope too, because we always need a pretty envelope to go along with our card. So we're gonna open up our ink pad again. The gorgeous grape. And we're going to use our large flower stamp. I think I just got my finger in the ink pad. And we're going to stamp our flower right on the left side of our envelope. Doesn't that make that pretty? And you still got room to address it, so, and you can also write over the top of it if you wanted to. All right, now we can close up our ink pad. So here's our card in our envelope. And the inside. So that's our first card. So let me set that aside and we'll get on to our second one. And okay, clean up just a tiny bit here. Make some room. And I pin back in my ribbon so I don't lose that. Okay. And we're done with that. Alright, so our next card is, I'm trying to make some room here so I can set these all over here. We're going to be using another one of our new sets, which is called Tulip Fields. And it also has the dies that go along with it. And here's the card that we're going to be making with it. I'll slide those aside. I'll get my things all together here. And we're going to be doing some stamping and cleaning in between because we've got different colors that we're going to be using. So I've got my chamois, Simply Chamois here ready to go. So we're going to start out stamping. Well, our card base is our basic. It's the 5.5 by 8.5, and then it's scored in the middle at 4 1/4 inches. So let me get all of our bits and pieces out here. So get ready to go. And my instructions. Okay. And our card base I'm using is the Evening Evergreen cardstock, and it's 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches and scored at 4 1/4 inches. So let me get that over here. And our inside is the 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. So we're going to set that aside for a moment. And we're going to burnish our edge of our card base. And I've got a mat that I've die cut using. These are the stitched rectangles. And this is the old set, but they have the new set in there, but it's the same number. And we're going to use the larger one and then the next size, and we're going to mat those together. So I've die cut the, I think this is the crumb cake. We've die cut that already. That's going to be our larger mat. And then I've die cut our basic white using the next size down. And that's what we're going to be stamping on. So we're just going to set these aside for now. And let's start stamping. And we're also going to be doing some blending. I'm going to grab my blending brush. These are Stampin' Up's blending brushes. You get 3 of them. And I think they're like $12. So all you gotta do when they get dirty is just rinse them out with warm water and let them dry. And we're going to be using the balmy blue for our sky. And let me get off that scratch paper again. Where did I put it? Oh, right here. So we're going to do some blending for our sky using the balmy blue. And I always start off with the paper because I don't want to have, it leaves dark circles kind of. So I wanted to make sure I have control of it where I get the ink where I want it to get. And that's good with our sky. Well, let me bring it down a little bit here. Okay. So we're going to leave that ink pad open because we're going to be stamping our clouds here in a moment. Alright, I think I'll leave that there so I can stamp on because I'm going to go off the edge a little bit. Alright, and I didn't get my colors out here. We've got Mango Melody, So Saffron, Highland Heather, and Poppy Parade are in colors today. So we're going to start out with the So Saffron, and we're using this larger, I don't know if it's showing on the camera, but it's this one here. And we'll get started stamping. And I'm going to set that there. I think this is going to be a real fun set to be using. I've seen so many different ideas on Pinterest and such. Pinterest is my friend. I go on there quite a bit. Okay, so we're going to stamp that in the center. And we use the So Saffron for that one. And then we're going to come in with the stamp set that I don't have out here yet. We're going to be doing the tulips. Using this one here. And I guess that's why I didn't have that on my block, because I needed to wash in between. So let's go ahead and use our Simply Chamois. And I'll clean this block off really quick so I can use this block. I need to get me some more of these. I've only got the one. Alright. This one is where we're going to do our tulips. Our field of tulips. And we're going to go with the Mango Melody next. And we'll ink that up. And we're going to start right over here. And you want to take your point and stick it where that point is in the middle. And I'll leave just a tiny border in between the two colors. And we want to do 2 of each color here. And alright, and then we've got to clean in between. Alright, cover that one. And we're going to do Highland Heather. And we'll do the same. Leave a small border and make sure that that point goes right up to the top there. Hyman Taylor. And next we'll be using Poppy Parade. And a little ink there. Let's get that wiped off. Okay. Alright, and that goes in our center. And I got that one a little bit close, but that's okay. Then we're going to overlap the two. Like that. And we'll also clean as we go here. You can find the Simply Chamois in the annual catalog. I think it's like $8. And all you do is you just rinse it out with warm water. It does stain, but that is clean. It's just that it stained it, but it's still clean. It just doesn't look like it's clean. Alright, so we've got that done. Got the Poppy Parade done. Alright, we're going to set that aside for a moment. And now we're going to stamp our tree and our clouds on a little scrap paper here. And we're going to use Evening Evergreen to stamp our tree. And I should be using my piercing mat. These are photopolymer. And I forgot, but we'll do it with the clouds now. And then we've got our clouds. And you've got two different size clouds in here. Oh, and I forgot our little trees. Let me get those out. I'm just grabbing my pads here for the blocks. Put these on. Oops, might help if I do it the right side. I had it upside down there. Okay, then there's some little trees. I'm going to stamp those with the Evening Evergreen. And those are going to go directly onto our stamped image. And I'm just going to put some of those. Okay, just like that. And I'm done with the Evening Evergreen for now, until I do the sentiment. And now we're going to stamp some clouds using the Balmy Blue. These all have dies to be able to cut them out, so we need one little one and then we need two big ones, two big clouds. Okay. Oops, I'm getting ink all over me. I am. Can't be a stamper if you don't have ink on your fingers. Alright, we set our cushion aside, this aside. And then we've got the stamp of the little windmill. And we're going to stamp that on a scrap of our paper. I think this is the crumb cake. I believe it's crumb cake. And we're going to use Early Espresso to stamp that with. And we'll ink up our image here, bring back our mat. And we'll stamp that right on there. And now we're going to bring out our baby boss to do some die cutting. We've got her right here. You wouldn't believe my desk here. Look, I have got a mess. That's pretty well normal. Creativity is messy. There's our baby boss. I call her my baby boss. It's our mini cut and emboss machine. Alright, so we've got a plate number 1 and 2 number 2 plates. And what did I do with the die? So we need the windmill, and we need the clouds, and I'm loving the bicycle die too. I hadn't used that yet. That may be on an upcoming video here. Alright, is that the little cloud? Yeah, it's a big cloud. Okay. No. Is it? Yes, it is. We've got 2 cloud dies in there. Didn't notice that before. Alright, so let's get back to business here. So we're going to cut our tree. And I'm going to grab my washi tape, I think. Where did I put it? To hold that in place. We're supposed to get some storms this afternoon. Hopefully they don't get too mean. Okay, let's put that one there to hold that in place. Oh, I just had the end of that. Where did it go? There it is. And I'm going to place the washi tape on my shirt to get rid of some of the tackiness. So I don't want it tearing my paper. And place this down for our clouds. Oops. And that little one. Oh, that's for the trees. That's not even a cloud die. Got the wrong one. Get these out without dropping them. That one back. That's for another project later. Should have had these already cut out. Would have saved some time. Alright, we've got those. We've got one more cloud and the windmill to cut out yet. I need my magnetic ball here. It's across the room here. Oops. Alright. And can I fit this on there too? I think so. Oops, might help if I put it the right direction. And line that up. That Might not work with the paper there, I'm not sure. I'm going to try it. Hope for the best. Yeah, we've got it together. And I apologize if my table is jiggling. Alright, we're going to set Baby Boss aside. There's our little windmill, our tree, our clouds, and our other cloud. Our lights aside. There we have our clouds. Alright, so now we can start assembling. Before we do that, though, I'm going to go ahead and stamp our sentiment. Well, no, let's go ahead and do these, and then we'll get to the sentiment next. Alright, so we want to kind of layer it where we want everything. Kind of do a dry run. And our little cloud and our windmill will sit right here. Let me go ahead and put our card together, or at least this part of it. We're going to glue this down to our mat. That way I can know how far over the edge I can go with everything. Oops, it jumped right out of my hand. We're going to have a small border going around. Amber, I'm not sure. Are you talking about my camera view? That the background looks a long way off. Do I need to zoom in more? Is it looking good to everybody else? Or do I need to do some adjusting? Huh. I'll give you a moment. I got kind of a delay on my iPad, so let me know if I need to zoom in some. Becky said it looks good. Okay. Maybe you're talking about something else. Huh. I think I missed it. Okay, so we're not going to glue that to our card yet. We're going to go ahead and assemble everything. So let me get the tree, and we'll put that on the left side of our card. And I'm kind of going to run off the edge a little bit, go over to the edge of the matting. That way I'll have room for my windmill and everything. And the windmill we're going to put up on dimensionals. I'm going to bring those back in, and I'm going to use my outer edges of this. And some smaller ones here. Guess I should have brought out my mini ones. I'm thinking these might work though. Yeah, just barely. I think I might bring out the minis for those. So with your dimensionals, you get two sizes. You could get two sizes. These are the mini dimensionals, and then the regular mini, or the regular dimensionals. So the mini ones come in handy for small areas like this. So I use both sizes. Alright, I'm gonna put this one here, and another one right there. And I'm thinking all the catalogs are out in the mail. I got mine yesterday, so I'm thinking that Amber and anybody else that was on my mailing list, you should get it today or tomorrow, or you should have gotten it already. So they're on their way. I know, Becky, you're new here. Do you have a demonstrator that you're working with? Let me know if you need a catalog if you don't have a demonstrator. I'd love to earn your business if you don't. And I'll send one to you. All I ask is that you place an order with me to cover the costs of it all. Okay, so we're going to put our clouds down. Oh, okay, Amber. Okay, I misunderstood. Yeah, it does kind of look like a road. A tulip road. Yes. And this cloud up here. And then our little cloud. Alright. So here we have that done. Now we're going to work on our sentiment. And got a scrap of basic white, which is a 1/2 inch. And we'll cut that down after we stamp it. So we're going to stamp our sentiment on there. And what did I use the sentiment from? You make me smile. Oh goodness, I am so unprepared. Here we go. It comes from the Calming Camellia. And ooh, I'm hearing thunder. I didn't think this was weather supposed to come in until this afternoon. I think maybe it's a little ahead of schedule here. Hopefully I don't lose power. We are known to do that out in the country here. So we're going to stamp that right on a strip of white, and that's not very good. I gotta get my head over here so I can see. Well, that's not very good either. Let me try this again. I'm getting worse instead of better. Now we're gonna go with that one. It's not exactly straight, but it's probably the best of what I've done here. And we're just gonna cut that at an angle. Okay, move that aside. And I'm going to do this one a little bit different. We're just going to use a strip of green. It's the Evening Evergreen cardstock. And do that down to that. I'm just going to leave a small edge going around it. And we'll snip that also off at an angle. And I'm debating. With mine, I use the ribbon. I want to put the ribbon on there. Tell me what you think. Should I put it on there or should I leave it off? Oh, really, Amber? Yeah. I think we're fixing to get it here in a minute. So should I put the ribbon on there or should I leave it off? Let me know what you want me to do. We're just going to sit right here. So do we want the ribbon underneath it? It would be just under this edge here. Off. Amber says off. Anybody else want to comment? Okay. I don't see anybody else commenting. Let's go ahead and leave it off. We're going to put that up on dimensionals. I think the stamp set is to look geometric. Okay. So we'll leave it off. Too busy for it. Yeah, maybe so. I kind of agree. Sometimes you can get too much. Less is better sometimes. Like tunnel vision. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to place our sentiment down. We'll put the ribbon back over here. All right. And we're going to attach that to our card front. Okay, and then we're going to have a small border going all around our edge of our card. And we're going to bling it up a little bit using the 2021 to 2023 in color jewels. And we're going to take your pick tool and we're going to use the Evening Evergreen. Just give us a little bit of bling. And I got a little smudge there, so I'm going to put that there. Well, no, I don't like it there. Yeah, I guess it's going to stay there. Alright, and I'm going to take my Wink of Stella, if I can find her. And we're going to bling up our windmill blades a little bit, just to bring the dimension out a little bit. And the window, and maybe the door. And why not, we'll do the railing going around it. And we could do a little bit on our clouds also. Just a little. Okay, so there's the front of our card. And we'll do the inside of our card. And we're also using the sentiment from the Calming Camellia. And we're going to use, it's the little things that make life great. And we're stamping that using Evergreen. I need a black there. Oh, wonderful. Now I really stuck my fingers in it. Let me get a baby wipe before I get this spread all over the place. I'm doing it really good today. Okay, I've got a combination of colors, that's for sure. My fingers are all pretty. Okay. So we're going to stamp our sentiment in the upper center using Evening Evergreen. Did I put anything else in there? Yeah, I did along the bottom. So along the bottom, I'm going to be using these little tulips that are also in that set. And I'm going to stamp those using Evening Evergreen also. Let me get rid of this tulips here. And my scrap paper over here again, because we're going to be going off this. I want to keep my work surface halfway clean today. And we're just going to stamp our little flowers at the bottom. Oops, that didn't look like it inked up really good. Okay. Close up the ink pad. Get rid of my messy paper. And we'll glue that to the inside of our card. And need a small border going around. Gotta readjust here a little bit. Yeah, I guess it's stuck there. We're going to leave it there then. It was meant to be. So here's our card. You make me smile. And it's the little things that make life great. Alright, so we've got card number 2 done. Let us go on to card number 3. And I know I'm taking a little bit longer today, probably because I wasn't organized this morning. But here's the card that we're going to be doing. And instructions. Here's the stamp set. It's one of our new ones. It's called Blessings of Home. And that comes with the dies also. And we're also going to be using the sentiment that comes out of one of our Sale-a-bration stamp sets, which is called Friendly Hello. And with this stamp set, you get the paper with it, 12 by 12 double-sided paper, and the stamp set with an order of $100. So this is going to be a real useful one too, I think. So let's get started here. I think I've got everything set up for this one. We're going to start out with our garden green card base, which is our basic. It's the 8.5 by 5.5 inch, and then it's scored in the middle at 4 1/4 inches. So we're just going to fold that, and we're going to burnish the edge of that. Get my bone folder. And you can go onto my blog later today after I get it all loaded up to get all the dimensions and all the instructions for the cards that we're doing today, and for any past ones that I've done. So, all my bits and pieces out here. Dump that out. I think I got everything out. Alright, so we're using Designer Series paper, which is one of our new ones, and that's called Heart and Home. The one side is printed, and then the other back side has the wood grain. So I showed it with my product reveal last week, so you can go back and look at that if you want to see what all is in there. So anyway, we've got our Designer Series paper, and this measures 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And we've got a strip of that same Designer Series paper, which has got the wood grain on the back, which is the back side. And I'm going to be using this side of it. And this is a 1/2 inch by 5 1/4 inches. And we're going to go ahead and glue that down to our side of our Designer Series paper. I think it's raining. And we're putting that on our left side of our Designer Series paper. Leave a small border on that left side. I'm going to turn it over, see if I need to snip off any excess, which I do, just a tiny bit. Alright, we can go ahead and glue that to our card front. Weather's been really crazy this last month or so. Even up north, where they don't get tornadoes this time of the year, they got up in Minnesota. It's just really weird. We had some tornadoes here in Arkansas too, this past month. And then after all this front comes through, I think Sunday morning, we're supposed to be down with the wind chill in the teens. So what a difference. We're 70s this past week, and then we're going to be freezing come Sunday morning. Okay, so I already stamped our flower to save a little time. I used the flower here. This is out of the Blessings of Home. And I stamped it using Night of Navy ink, just to save a little bit of time. And I'm going to place that up on dimensionals. Ooh, something's really coming down out there. Yes, it is. Coming down in buckets out there. All I ask is that we don't lose power right now until I'm finished. Okay, one in the center. And I want to make sure I've got enough on here so it doesn't sink in the middle. Take your pick tool. And I'm going to wait to place this down because I'm going to be doing the sentiment first. And we're going to stamp our sentiment on another piece of that Designer Series paper, the wood grain. And this measures 7/8 inches by 3 5/8 inches. And we're going to be taping off some of this because we're going to use 2 different sentiments. And where did I put it? I didn't put that one on. Okay. What a beautiful day. I didn't put that one on here yet. Alright. I thought I had it already. Yeah. Acrylic block here. What we're going to do, we're only going to be using a part of this. So I want to use the What a Beautiful Day, and I'm going to block out the For Love. And we're going to use another sentiment instead of that. So I'm going to use some washi tape to tape over that For Love. And I want to make sure it's covered good. Okay. And we're going to use the Night of Navy ink pad. I don't think that was closed very well from when I used it this morning. Oops, I covered up the wrong one. Let's redo this. It's kind of cool that you can do this because you can get more use out of your stamp pads just by covering up a bit of it. And don't forget to take off that washi tape. And I'm going to stamp that off to the left side of our Designer Series paper and try to get it as straight as I can. Well, I wanted that up farther, but that's okay. Can I still squeeze that in there? Yeah, I think I can. Then I've got the other stamp set, which says Have a Perfect Day. We're going to stamp that right underneath that other sentiment. Alright, that looks pretty good. At first I thought I might have had the first sentiment down too low, but it works. gosh, I got a mess here. I need to make a little room. Okay, so we're going to attach this to a layer of our garden green, and this measures 1 inch by 3 3/4 inches. So we're just going to glue that down. Hope nobody's in a hurry today to go. We're going to small border going around. If you're not able to stay, you can come back and watch the replay later. I hope you can stay. All right, we're not going to put that on dimensionals. We're going to glue that directly down to our card front. You could put it on dimensionals if you wanted to, because our flower is going to be on dimensionals, but I just kind of thought it might look better without. We're just going to place that along the bottom. And now we can pop off our dimensionals, backings, and place our flower down. With this flower, you could use your blends or any other type of coloring that you use, pencils or watercolor or whatever, but I just left it just plain. So we're going to place that down on our card front. And I've got a little bow that I tied already. And this is one of our new fan baker's twine. We get 3 different ones. It looks like a garden green, or maybe that's a evening evergreen. And then our striped one, and then our plain blue. I think this is our Misty Moonlight. Yeah, it looks like Misty Moonlight. And I'm just going to take a mini glue dot and attach that to our flower. So let me get one of those off. I think we're going to put it right about here. And I tied a double bow with the twine. I did that ahead of time because I figured I'd be fumbling trying to make it on camera. Alright, and now we've got some of our new polished dots. This is also in the new mini catalog that's coming out live on January 4th. So we're going to take a couple small ones and we're going to place them on our sentiment. And then we're going to take another one. I like to use odd numbers, so I think we'll put that one up in the corner. I have one that came off inside the package. Alright, so here's the outside of our card, and I'm going to take some Wink of Stella, and I'm just going to highlight a little bit of the large flower. I'm not going to use the Wink of Stella on the whole flower. I'm just going to do a little bit of the shading. Okay. It just gives it a little bit of bling. I don't want a lot of bling. Alright, so the inside of our card, I'm going to bring out another basic white, which measures 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And, oops. And I'm using the sentiment that's out of the Friendly Hello, which is this one here. Hope you have the best birthday. And that's going to be our inside sentiment. And I'm going to be using the Night of Navy ink again. And we're just going to stamp that in the upper portion of our basic white. And then I also want to add a little extra. We're going to use this flower here. Trying to see which side I put it on. I guess I put it on this side. I love the distinctive stamp sets because it gives it a little added touch. Makes it look elegant, I think. So we're gonna glue that to the inside of our card. Oops. Back your card, it just fell in my lap here. And place that on the inside, try to get it straight. Oh, goodness. Slipping and sliding here. Alright, there we go. And get my tails of my ribbon going the right direction. Alright, so there's our third and final card for today. Let me find my glue cap, put that back on. And clean space here to bring these cards back again. Alright. I didn't make an envelope for these other two cards, but you could also do that. So, but for time's sake, I didn't do it today. Alright, so here's our cards that we did today. I'm just making sure that they're in view fairly well. And let me get my calendar out for next week's live. It's a brand new year. January 2022. Hard to believe. Alright, so my Facebook Live, our regular scheduled one, will be next Wednesday, January 5th at 10 o'clock Central Time. I'm also going to try to do maybe a walkthrough of the catalogs. Maybe I can get it in on maybe Thursday. It's kind of a tentative time frame right now, I'm not sure. But I want to do a walkthrough through the new catalogs also besides my live. So my regular live will be Wednesday, January 5th. And I'm going to try to do a new catalog walkthrough on the 6th, which is Thursday. And I think I might put that at the same time at 10 o'clock Central Time. So until then, if you have any questions, be sure that you email me or comment on my videos. I do go back and look at comments. Thank you, Becky. This one here was kind of a last minute this morning. I thought I needed a third card and I didn't have anything designed, so I did put that together early this morning. So I'm glad that it turned out okay. Otherwise I would have been stumbling more. But I hope you all enjoyed today and enjoyed the cards. And Happy New Year to everybody. I'll see you next year. Glad you're here. Be sure to share the video and like it. And tell your friends about it. Even if they're not stampers, they might enjoy just watching. So I'm going to let you go, and I'll see you next year in 2022. Bye.